Warning, it is the opinion of the Forestry Productions LLC and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by my co-host Justin Richardson and the bad boy Bern Podcasy. Our guest today is the one and the only Dan Gallagher. Jdub, how we doing, sir?
Swell.
Looking swell. Bad boy
Thank
Bernie
you.
Biceps, the 44th father. How are you today, sir?
I'm feeling like $1 million, Matty.
Well, you're looking like 150. All right. Well, you can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast and join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, then please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And for the love of God, I don't want to keep asking you to do this, but it's every day with the mouth. So if you could just please like and subscribe so my wife just stops giving me so much shit about doing this show. All right, let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. Working perspectives.
Okay, so today on the show, we have Dan Gallagher. I would like to say that I met Dan Gallagher in 2005 working at Vinny T's, and I did not know him before then. But there is someone on this show that has known him since, well, a long time. So I'm going to let him take it away with B Block. Go ahead, Bern, knock your socks off.
Let me tell you a little something about Dan Gallagher, the DPG. Youngest. Daniel Patrick is in the house, the youngest of five. Broad, completely square-headed boys.
Yeah.
His mother is a literal saint, and his father will forever be a legend.
Yeah.
Dan and I met in second grade.
Love
after the Catholic school I went to in first grade politely asked me not to return.
Sure. Been
So
there.
I met up with Dan, and there was a little group of dudes. He seemed like a pretty cool guy, but it was pretty clear that I was going to have to win his favor to get acceptance from everybody else.
Right.
Yada, yada, yada. I'm not so bad either. We become best friends.
Right.
We spend most of our lives on bikes, in comic book shops, talking about Star Wars, playing very mediocre baseball on the same team.
Yeah.
Later on, we would eventually go to high school together as well.
Very nice.
Where Gallagher would excel at a number of things. Fun fact about Gallagher, started every single varsity football game of his high school career.
Really?
Off the jump as a freshman.
4 seasons of varsity.
Which isn't super surprising, as 2 of his 4 older brothers played Division I college football.
Makes sense.
Gallagher went on to try his hat as a thespian, joining the school play as greaser number 6 in Greece because he thought it would look good on his college resume.
He is a Danny Zuko.
He could have been.
Yeah.
Instead he was Mitch in the chorus. We went ahead and decided we were going to stay together as heterosexual life partners and became roommates at Villanova.
Ooh, go Wildcats.
Yeah, go Cats, where Dan blessed the entire 4th floor of St. Monica through most of the early 2000s with as much alcohol as possible due to his exceptional fake ID.
Very nice.
and then has gone on to do a lot of weird stuff. Dan has been acted on stage and on screen.
Yeah.
Dan has produced original works. Check out Sci-Fi Macbeth. Dan has written a novel. Dan has written screenplays. Dan has done podcasts. He's kind of a jack of all trades. Let me just sum it up for you in one thing right here, okay? In the late 90s, Dan was nice enough to walk away from his car so that I could lose my virginity in the backseat.
What a guy.
Nice.
What a guy.
And now he sells me life insurance. So, Dan, I just want to ask you a quick question here. Cheetos, crunchy or puffed?
Crunchy.
Yeah.
No question. Not looking back.
Goddamn right. You're goddamn right, Crunchy.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
I think, Justin, you're like one of 5 people besides the kid in the movie Little Giants that like some puffed.
I'm a puff boy.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I mean, truly, I'm a ball boy, like a cheese ball. That comes in like the barrel,
the tub.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, if you can find the Planters, cheese balls,
solid cheese ball,
not Utz, Planters.
Yeah,
beyond compare.
Yeah,
I like Utz. Planters that's a pricey cheese ball.
That's the thing. That's the Cadillac of cheese balls.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
comes in a big tin.
Yeah.
They don't play.
Oh, do they still sell the popcorn in a tin with the 3 different flavors?
Oh, with the divider, they better.
Oh man, dude, you got some caramel. You like butter was always last to go. Am I right?
Well, I mean, butter is fine.
Caramel
like, that's
better.
Caramel goes the first day, right? Yeah. Caramel's just the best.
Caramel's hard too.
Yeah, loved it. Nice little
the
crunch.
The best part was when you got low and it really the molecular cohesion was no longer there. It was just like a powder of all different kinds of things.
Yeah,
that kind of was better.
Yeah, it was a nice mix. You did get the salty sweet. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan. So Dan, thanks for coming on. How are you, sir?
I'm great, man. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I am tickled pink that you decided to come on. And this is one thing that we've said repeatedly on this show is that we do classify how amazing this show is. And, we are over, at this point, I think we'd be at like almost 100 episodes combined with the Weekend Pop-In. But we do classify how great the show is by the people that will come on and listen to the show. So you are a class A human being, and we're super excited to have you here. I do want to ask this. So I do remember Bern telling me a story, and we're going to start off with you were born in 40 Fort, right?
Yep.
Grew up in 40 Fort your whole life. You're the youngest of 5 Irish Catholic boys, right?
Correct. Yep.
When Bern forgot to say barrel chested, right? Common Irish Catholic trait. I'm one of them myself. Love a good barrel chest. But yeah, so you're the youngest of 5 boys. I think, what'd you say? Your oldest brother's 14 years older than you?
14 years older than me. Yeah. And then my closest brother's only 2 years older. So it was like a wide range.
Oh, wow. So yeah, that was a whole big
big thing. Yeah.
That's cool though. So you had something to like look up to and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really cool.
So
it was really cool.
Bern told me that when he did meet you or go over your house for the first time, he said that's when he saw the biggest human being he had ever seen in his entire life. Is that right, Bern?
That is 100% correct. And he was also standing in a doorway. So it was like there was no doorway. There was just a figure with a little bit of light behind. I've never seen anything like it in my whole life.
And you were 7 years old?
Probably 7 or 8.
There was, dude, I remember, and that was your brother. And we, like Bern said in the previous in B block, he was saying how 2 of Dan's older brothers played D1 football. There was a guy that went to our high school when I was there. He was like older than me. He had graduated before I left, but he was on the documentary that they did at North Penn called The Season. He was one of like the featured guys because he was a starting lineman at Penn State. His name was Chris McKelvey. And I just remember seeing him in like the weight room in the off season because he would come back like, summer and stuff. And he was always in the weight room. He was like legit. I remember seeing him. I was like, what the fuck? What am I doing here? Right? Like who's like, if I like, you think right away, like if you're on a battlefield and you see that guy with an axe, if this is like, 500 years ago, come on. What are we doing here? It's just, forget about it. You'd want a couple Gallaghers on your side. I'll tell you that. So let's get into that though. So let's start. Like, what was the dynamic like? So I'm one of 4 kids. My sister's the oldest. I have my older brother, Tom. then me, and then my little brother Alex. So, it was like, 3 boys it was like our house was a war zone and things like that. But I can't imagine 2 things. One, like the property insurance at your parents' house must have been through the roof. And then also the food bill, come on. How do you support that?
Yeah, exorbitant. Yeah, as I'm a financial professional now, as Bernie mentioned in the B block, I sell insurance. Mm-hmm. And as I'm studying for all these exams and stuff and getting licensed and getting out in the industry, umbrella policies started making a lot of sense to me. So that's when you have home insurance, so you're covered to get sued. Hey, but you might get really sued. So you got to get an umbrella policy. And that was definitely there.
Just FYI, your boy old Uncle Matty here has got his PNC license. Oh, just to let you know. Yeah.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah. Passed it this year.
Property casualty buds.
Yeah, fuck yeah, brother. Dude, not gonna lie. Had to take it 3 times, but rough test. I'm not, it's just, dude, it's the worst. What are you gonna do? But
it's not. Well, I kept getting hung up on the obscure, like maritime insurance stuff. It's just interesting. It's like, so if you were an old clipper ship, that's how you'd get insured.
Yeah, what? Dude, when they do the inland marine. Inland marine. Yeah. I was like, come on, and flood. Dude,
you just did not see this happening. No one saw this conversation going this way. Taking it back, the dynamic was really cool because my brothers were so much older than me. Yeah. So that by the time I was going to kindergarten, the older ones were going to college. Oh. And the next oldest brother was 2 years ahead of me. So it was like, he was always too much bigger than me to like sportingly pick on me. It was you just blow me away. So it was no fun. Like eventually when he got bigger, like we'd play sports and he'd still dominate, but you could tell like he wasn't quite going easy. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't going easy at all, but it was never like getting picked on. So it was actually a really chill vibe. It was really great. And it was really cool because as I'm growing up then, I've seen my brothers do all this stuff ahead of them. So when I'm applying for colleges, like I knew about college when I was 4. There's no big whoop. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. The food bill was insane. Yeah. A lot of noodle, a lot of potato, a lot of just every carb. I need the most condensed carbs you have.
We're all there.
Casseroles, baby. Casseroles.
Oh yeah. Did your mom put the potato chips on the casserole?
No, because you couldn't keep a bag of potato chips in my house. If she got home from the stores, like by the time she cooked the casserole, the potato chips were gone.
Yeah, sure.
By the time she prepped the casserole, the potato chips were gone.
Having a brother 14 years older than you, that's like, he must have been your fucking hero, right?
Completely.
Like you idolized him, right? You would talk about him all the time and like,
all my 3 oldest brothers were like that, like 1, 2, 3. So they were like 14, 13, and 12 years older than me. And then my next oldest brothers too. So like we were like a little group and they were a little group. That was really great.
Yeah. Parents took a little break there.
Took a little break and then like,
they're like, we'll make a couple more accidents. Let's go.
The cool thing about the food bill was that once all my brothers had moved out and I was in high school and everyone else was either in college or moved out and everything, my mom would be like, I can actually like make something now. I can actually she took like cooking classes and I was like, I got really into stuff. So I was actually getting really good stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah. They were just getting volume and I'm getting like properly, like sun-dried tomatoes came out of nowhere. Like, whoa, all right.
Where did this come from?
Yeah. It was unheard of in the 90s in Northeast PA.
Yeah.
The same thing happened. I moved out of my parents' house and my parents moved out of the small house we grew up in, moved to the like even further suburbs. There was a house with multiple bathrooms now. More bedrooms than children, and I got drunk and I was asleep on the couch. She wakes me up, and I'm not living there. And she's like, "Do you want to? I'm making homemade lobster pot pie. Do you want one?" And I woke up. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here? Like, there's a house here and a backyard. You learned how to cook. There's no children here. Like, what is this? What are you doing?
Yeah,
you're a monster.
Yeah,
Valhalla.
Yeah. Justin was in a similar situation to you, where he lived in a house with 6 boys. Oh. Right.
Yeah. My mom would buy 3 pounds of ham, 3 pounds of American cheese, 5 gallons of milk, and it all would, and like 5 loaves of bread. It would all be going by Wednesday, and she would just like cry.
Yeah.
She'd be like, that's it. Like I bought all the food and you just got to figure it out for the rest of the week.
Yeah. Did she do box cereal or bag cereal?
I would throw away the bag cereal. We're not eating bag cereal. Like we're poor, but I want a goddamn box. I want to build a little fort while I'm eating it across from my brother. I want to do puzzles. We might be poor, but we're not bag cereal poor. And if we are, then you got to figure it out, lady, because we're not doing it.
Yeah. Do something about it. Yeah.
She tried to do like the Rubbermaid ones where you fill the cereal in and put the lid. And I'm like, no. I want a box, woman.
Yeah. Where's my maze? I want the maze on the back.
Oh. Dude, I don't think I ever found like a thing in the bag though, like a toy.
There used to always be shit in it, but when we were kids, there was always prizes inside the box.
I think maybe they got stolen before I got to it.
Yeah, you had to be on top of that. I would see it as soon as we were bringing the groceries in. I'd be like, oh, "What's that little?"
Sleeper cereal, Crispix. Go ahead.
My money's on Alex. By the way, I think Alex probably sneakily got
those little hands.
Yeah. No one was looking at him.
Dan, did you work at Vinny T's when Alex was there too? Or were you gone by then?
I think I was gone by then.
Yeah. He didn't work there long. He's a fucking student out of that kid. But
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah, he's all right. So nice. So let's keep it moving. So like we said, born in 44, Northeastern PA, and grew up, and like for those that don't like, we've talked about 44 on the show, and we've had a bunch of 44 people on the show, and I can't wait to have more, and can't wait to do a 44 round table and get it all going. But I would like to ask Dan, what would you say was one of your fondest memories of growing up in 44? Because I've heard stories of 44. It's very similar to the land of the free, home of the brave, Lansdale, Pennsylvania, but like there are some, it is its own world in a way. So what would you say?
As a kid, very bikeable situation, very bikeable town. I had this little alleyway right behind my house.
Yep.
And then the next block continued on for another block. So this alley went straight from my house to the Little League, man. Straight to the Little League, 2 blocks. And as a kid, your parents like, go ahead. So even when I was like 5, this is back in the day when 5-year-olds could just leave the house. But you felt like a king.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that kind of accessibility, and that kind of like, it's weird, because it seems like it's an opposite thing, but everything was accessible. But when you're a kid on a bike, that kind of makes it almost like an adventure.
Oh, the best. The best, man. Just like going out, like getting on your horse and going for a ride, brother.
Yeah. But what was cool about it was still rural enough, like that we were like at town, sidewalks and convenience stores in the works. Half mile this way, woods, old. Oh man. It was a coal country, you understand?
Yeah.
And they stopped mining coal because they got it all.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's no more coal.
They fucking plucked it dry, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once the sinkholes started opening up in the 50s, they were like, you know what? Maybe we should dial it back a little
bit.
Yeah. Would you think I'm going to mine a tunnel directly under the river?
What? Go make a tunnel underneath the river?
Yeah, we're gonna chip away. Ding, 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 ding. Underneath the river.
I don't think.
And then once you get away with it, would you keep chipping away? You see where it's going. That happened a couple of times. So yeah, no more coal. But they did take all the money, but they were very nice to leave the huge wasteland of broken rocks piled up. I don't know if you're familiar with a culm bank, but we had a culm bank.
No, what is
it? It is a gigantic pile of culm, I guess it is.
Shale? Just shale. It's just the coal they didn't want to take.
Yeah, it's gravel that's all ground up, and they just piled it up into a giant. I mean, it was essentially a mountain on the mountain, and you could ride your bikes up to it, and it was first like a blackened field. It was really otherworldly. It was like you beamed down in Star Trek, and you're like on this weird planet. And because it was essentially a mountain of not quite dust, but very fine, small gravel.
Yeah.
You could essentially walk it up because it had so much give that your foot would go in just enough that you could just go.
Yeah.
And to an adult, this is a very gross endeavor.
Sure.
But to a kid,
oh, it's heaven.
Wild. But it was also, you also had to realize it's no man's land. It's anything can happen out there. There could be a hobo who's drinking and just leave him alone because God knows how that's going to go.
Yeah. Let him do his thing. Yeah. There's
a lot of adventures in every direction.
I like that though. That's what like growing up is about. I would love to like. I've done a little bit of research on the Molly Maguires from up there and like the coal barons. Like, dude, there was a time Scranton was one of the richest cities in the world because of the coal barons, right? Like, there's I think the Scranton Public Library used to be like a coal baron's house, and it's like this massive castle.
It's the electric city, baby. It's the first city to run trolleys on an electric wire because they had so much goddamn money.
Oh,
they had enough money to try it out.
There's a town downriver from Wilkes-Barre called Williamsport.
Yeah.
And their high school mascot, I think to this day, it certainly wasn't when we were there, was the Millionaires. Because that was downriver. That was a nice spot.
Yeah, dude, I would love if they did something like a documentary or whatever on because the Molly Maguires are fascinating back then. And like that era, like that would be, tell me like that wouldn't be a great, like, you know, Deadwood-esque type of, you know, HBO show or something along those lines, right?
Most
like
definitely.
It'd be phenomenal. And I'm sure
there's like a labor union situation, but also kind of a crime aspect.
Like, but then they would take like guys from the labor union to break up the labor union, and they were like, you know what I mean? Like it was a whole thing. But yeah,
former guest on the pod, Murph Meyer, is a descendant. His great grandfather was, I believe, murdered as a Molly Maguire.
Ah, well, fancy that.
Yeah, he's got some perspective on it.
Yeah,
we'll save that for the round table.
No, can't wait for the round table, dude. I'll tell you this: when the first time I've talked about on the show, my dad's from Scranton, so I've been to Scranton a few times, and like, you know, it's on a mountain, it's a whole thing. But when you go to 44 in the valley, right, it's legit a valley. Like you drive through a mountain, and then all of a sudden there's this fucking city out of nowhere, right? That's built in the valley, right? Like obviously. Like when you say it's in the valley, you think, yeah, okay, duh. But then when you're like, oh shit, this is a real valley, right?
Well, especially like around Philly, it's like you're in the Delaware Valley, and it's like 300 square miles. Like it's this huge area. It's just like a term.
Yeah. You're exactly right. I was like, Del Val College. There's no valleys here near this college. But either way, no, when you went in, it is quite like, you know, it is pretty cool. Like when the first time you're there, and it's got a lot of history and things like that. But it's also like, you know, a nice blue collar town growing up. I would like to ask this though. So you were 5 years old heading down the alley to the baseball field and all that stuff. You are the father of 2 daughters. Any chance you're letting them run outside 5 years old or no?
Hightown?
No. Yeah. No.
44? Yeah.
Really? Even
we
now?
got listen, man, when we go to visit my mom, same house I grew up in, same alleyway, they have friends in town.
Yeah.
Right down the alley.
Takes a village.
Now, listen, I'll keep an eye on them probably more than my parents did. But
right.
But no, I feel a lot better about it. Of course, bear in mind though, I'm usually up there. My brothers are there with their kids, so there's a lot of
it's like a whole thing. Yeah. But it used to be like back then, like, you know, like I know, like, you know, my friends' dads would like watch out for me and stuff. You know what I mean? Like if they saw you, like, all right, make sure the kids are okay, because it was all like one big group kind of thing. Like when you have a neighborhood like that, it's different, right? I would say like, yeah, because you want them to go out and experience and have adventures and like get into some trouble. But, you know, but on the other hand, it's like, you got to be safe. You know what I mean? It's
you know how it was back then too. It was like you had to be back for dinner, not because your mom was concerned, but because she doesn't need this pain in the ass. You get back here, and don't make me chase you all over town. Get back.
Yeah, you know what time it is. I'm not making this for my fucking health. Like, let's go, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. So let's get into some school a little bit. Like you did Catholic school K through 12, then you would go to Villanova, which is also a Catholic school?
Also correct, yeah.
Yeah, so you did Catholic school, and then you would go to St. Joe's for your MBA, which is also. So you lived the Catholic school life, you know, all the way up the trail. So what would you say? I know, so I brought this up on the show before, and this is one thing, and you know, obviously people can tell that I've gotten over it because I've, you know, only brought it up 100 times, but I've never I didn't have a female teacher, I didn't have a male teacher till I was in 9th grade. So to me, the grade school I went to was all female teachers, and it built this culture of like being catty and like kind of, you know, anything that was competitive or any type of testosterone kind of thing, or, you know, anything that had any masculinity involved in it all was shit on. And like, you know, it's just a really, really bad culture. And I like you know, what they made to perceive was good wasn't always good. And you know what I mean? So I don't know, but it was frustrating because there was no male influence. And for young men, that's something that's vital. So by the time you get to high school, you run into a couple other things, and like, you know, you kind of get a wake up call a little bit as far as like teaching goes. But did you guys have that at all? Did you have male teachers in grade school or no?
There was a male teacher we didn't have
There was one. I can remember one from our the way we did it. It was our school was like went up to 5th, and then a bunch of schools poured into like a Catholic middle school. There was one dude at our first school that I remember, and then when we got to the middle school, there was a couple more. But not. I mean, one or two maybe, right? And then high school actually was a pretty decent divide between. I feel like.
So wait,
yeah, it's fair.
You guys did it because my Catholic school, it was kindergarten to 8th grade. And then the high school was 9th grade through 12th. Right?
Ours was 2 originally, but then, the Catholic Church, they wanted to save some pennies because they were hurting.
Yeah.
So what they did was, I think when me and Danny started at our school, it was K through 8.
Yeah.
A few years, probably when we were in like 3rd grade, they built but they designated a middle school. So then like 4 or 5 Catholic schools, these grade schools just went K through 5. And then everyone from those couple of schools would go to the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade building.
Did that take away from any of the rivalry? Because I will say this, that is one thing that you did develop in Catholic grade school is that there were some fucking rivalries, brother. You hated like, fuck St. Rose, fuck Corpus, fuck Jude, fuck Mount Carmel, fuck them all right? So I'm just, if for all, I know we have a bunch of listeners that went to those schools, but go fuck yourselves, every fucking one of you. I will say this. I played, like, we had a football, but they didn't have like a football team for my school. It was like, it would be like the Catholic League team. And there was like one team you could play for. And it was, in Doylestown, right? But soccer was big, right? Like, and it was a co-ed soccer league. And we ended up winning the Archdiocese when I was there. No big deal. But I played soccer 3 years, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. Never lost a soccer game to any shithouse other team. And I never fucking will. There you go.
You might if you
career.
somehow end up playing Catholic League soccer again.
Any of these fucking 7th and 8th graders in the Archdiocese want to take on old Uncle Matty, fucking let's go. All right.
Dominate you.
I want to hear it. Oh, yeah. Dude, we won the Philadelphia Archdiocese. We're in Sports Illustrated. It was fucking great. But
that's so cool.
Yeah. We had a priest that loved us.
I'm pretty sure that our grade school, our K through 5, just had boys and girls basketball, right? And then
correct.
If you played football, if you played soccer, if you played baseball, you played for your town.
Yeah.
And then even in middle school, I think I played on like an indoor soccer team or whatever, but it was pretty much just like basketball. There might have been an indoor soccer team. And then if you were in like 8th grade, you could try out for like the freshman football team at the high school. But that was pretty much it. So the rivalry stuff more happened in high school when all the middle schools then poured into the high school. And you're like, I don't like those St. Nick's guys. I don't like those Holy Child guys. I don't like those Gate to Heaven guys. Like,
fuck all.
And then again in college when because everyone from that part of Pennsylvania went to the Philly area for college. So you'd run into the guys who are from the other high schools and then immediately be like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, we're done with that. Okay, we're all concentrating on one thing, and it's females.
Can I hit that? Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. That's all you would say. Nice. So, okay. So you came up through, and we alluded to it earlier. Sports is a big thing for you. You kind of did all of them, right, Dan? You played a little league baseball.
As a kid, yeah.
Football.
Baseball. I did a little bit of soccer when I was like 5 or 6. And then not enough to even, little kid run around stuff, not really, not properly playing. Yeah. And then, Little League. And Bernie said that did he say mediocre?
Yeah.
That's even generous.
I was trying to be nice for both of us.
Yeah.
We weren't good.
Just hapless.
Dude, that is one thing that'll turn you off from baseball is being on a bad team. I was on a team, shout out Clemens Market, 5th grade on this team. And it was like, dude, like I had been on some like really good teams like in the previous years, right? And it was like it was like all about baseball. I was on this team and it was awful. We won one game in like a 24 game season and we barely won it, right? It was like a nightmare situation, right? And like I remember one time like we had a kid on our team and he was like whatever, he wasn't the best player, but he was playing right field. And it's important to know, you got to know how to catch, know how to throw, right? This kid wasn't great. He wasn't athletic at all. A ball gets hit to him, right? And it's like right to him. And we're like, dude, you can do it. Just catch it. Just stay there. Catch it. And he does like the underhand catch. He doesn't catch it like, he goes to catch it like this, right? The underhand. The ball hits his glove. And everyone's like, fuck yeah. and then his glove falls off his hand, and I'm like, God damn it, this fucking team. Like the coaches were even like letting us, like they would let me curse just because I was so frustrated. I was like, motherfucker.
No,
right?
Danny and I played the corners. Danny held down right field, I held down left field, and we both hoped that no one hit it our way. That was pretty much
He gave us good enough pop where we could get under it. And we just weren't coordinated. It's funny because later in high school, I just played football. I played basketball like maybe freshman year and then just played football the whole time. But I would have liked to have gone out for baseball because like I remember playing like as an adult in like happy hour bar league type situations and be like, oh crap, I got good at this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
like
I
was 7. I was just uncoordinated. Now I can actually like hit a ball coming in and like run bases and do stuff. But yeah, football kind of took over when I got to high school.
So, okay. So you did like a little basketball then when you were younger, but
basketball throughout middle school, grade school, middle school, and then a little bit in high school until my football coach just told me like, nah, man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You're
on your sign.
You're way better at this than you are at that. So just do this because
the contract is signed, buddy.
Yeah. I'm not Bo.
Yeah,
I'm not Dion. This is not happening.
Yeah. They but dude, I'll tell you also, like you're the 5th Gallagher, right? Like did you guys all play for the same like midget football team and stuff or
yeah, we were 44 Flyers, yeah.
Dude, so like you were the 5th Gallagher to come through the organization. They all knew your brothers, right? And then like
they had one helmet for 20 years that was reserved for whatever Gallagher was there. It was the only one that would fit, and every Gallagher would have to wear it generationally.
It hurt so bad. It hurt the forehead. It was a piece of crap helmet. Almost put me off the sport entirely. Plus, they had a weight limit of like 110 pounds. Done. I'm like 9. I'm like, that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
So like, I couldn't play after that. So like, yeah, I was going to sign up for freshman football. And then they were just like, I was big. So they were like, no, come on to the varsity because we need to be understaffed.
Yeah.
And so I went from, the last time I played football, I was 9 and it hurt my head all the time and I couldn't even play. So maybe. And then I get there and the helmet fits and the gear is cool.
Yeah.
And
chicks
probably
dig football players.
Honestly, man, the biggest thing was, you start practicing in the summer.
Yeah.
Going into high school. I got my boys and feeling good about it going into freshman year. I know a lot of people who are freshmen, but here's my chance to like get in with some older guys.
Upperclassmen.
And they were way cooler than they had to be to the freshman kid coming up. I mean, they were awesome to me, which was really helpful.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then you can pay that forward. You know what I mean? Like make sure that you're good to everybody else.
Yeah.
But that was great. But yeah, I still didn't know what I was doing. Like it was the first time, when you make that transition from like kind of kid sports leagues to like, we're actually doing this now.
Yeah.
And you get like, it's your first time getting physically tired from exercise. I'm running. I'm like, but I know how to run, but I can't run anymore.
Yeah. Like when did all this start?
Am I dying?
Yeah. You're like, this used to be not this bad, but
I used to run laps, like, hey, do 4 laps, and there we go.
Yeah.
This is doing sprints. Like, there's a different kind of running. What?
Yeah.
I thought I was just running. And so I didn't actually start my first game. I was on the sidelines, and a guy got hurt, so I had to go in the first quarter.
Well, but that was played varsity then.
Oh yeah, I played every quarter of every game of every year.
Yeah,
but
dude, you Lou Gehrig'd him. Right?
Wally pipped him.
Dude, did you ever hear that Bill Belichick, Wes Welker story? This happened in Philadelphia. So the Patriots, right? They were playing the Eagles in a preseason game, right? And it was a preseason game, and like it was when Welker and Brady when Wes Welker was still there, right? Sure. And they're playing, and Welker showed up, but he didn't dress. There was nothing wrong with him. He's just like, I don't feel like playing kind of thing. Right. That game, right. Julian Edelman returns a punt for a touchdown. Right. As soon as Julian Edelman returns the punt for the touchdown, Bill Belichick walked up to Welker and just said, Wally Pip, and then kept going, right? And Welker's like, what, dude? I'm on Molly right now. Like, what's going on? And so, yeah, dude, how fucking great is that? Because, Wally Pip, Lou Gehrig replaced Wally Pip, and then Wally Pip never got a shot back. So, yeah, shout out Billy Belichick. But,
I don't remember who got hurt that game. I took their spot.
Well, they never got it back. So
that's it.
Plus, too, like, was your older brother on the team the same time when you were there? Or was he in a different school?
He went to he went to the public school.
Okay.
We alternated. Like every brother went Catholic school, public, Catholic, public, Catholic.
All right.
And part of that was like, awesome. Love my older brother, and he's awesome to me, and was really cool. But it's hard always being the little brother at school.
True.
And so when it came time, I was like, no, I'll go to the different school, and then I'll be me and you'll be you. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that first game, I wasn't supposed to start. I was a freshman. He was I want to say senior, but he might've been a junior, but he was at the public school, bigger team. He was going to be a starter. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so all my parents were at that game.
Yeah.
I think my brothers were too. Like a lot of people went to that game. Yeah. I had an away game. It was I was just supposed to chill on the sidelines. I was kind of looking forward to it. I'd never even been on the sidelines before at a high school game. So I was like, there's lights, man. Cool. Yeah. And then they're like, Gallagher, you're in.
Well, okay. All right.
And I didn't know what
You're
I was
like
doing.
Me, or if there's any I
was like, putting me in is going to be marginally better than having an empty space there. So I'm like tackle. I'm like, okay, what do? I just push this guy, or I don't know. I kept asking the guard, like, so what do I do in this place? Like, Gallagher, you got to just figure something out, man.
Yeah.
He was cool at first. He was cool at first, but after like a quarter of this, is like, Gallagher, we run 4 plays. Just do the same thing.
Yeah. Fuck it ain't quantum physics. Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you, I did love playing football, like the camaraderie and like, the games itself. Like there is something awesome. I did love playing football. That was probably one of, like, if I had to pick a favorite sport, that was definitely it. But yeah, man, dude. And like, I do like that, because that's really rare for back then. Because back then the cool thing was be an older dickhead, right? Like if you were an upperclassman, the cool thing was to be an asshole and be a dickhead. But that's nice. Like that just shows like the quality of guys you had on the team, that the older guys weren't complete shitheads to you. You know what I mean?
Totally. They were super cool. And it's such a difference.
One of the so little
by the way, that's called culture.
Yeah.
It's culture.
Yeah.
It's culture.
Yeah. True.
That's
very
real.
Yeah. Very true. I one of the starting quarterback when I was a freshman in high school, the starting quarterback at my high school is a football coach known as Joe Judge. You know him, Bern?
I do. I'm well aware of him. Really?
Yeah. Really. Joe Judge was the starting quarterback at Lansdale Catholic when I was a freshman and he was a senior. And this is a great story.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm in there. They had like 2 bathrooms at the school, right? There was one upstairs, one downstairs, and like, they had a men's and a women's, right? And they like they weren't the greatest, but so I'm in the stall and I'm dropping some heat, right? Doing my thing. And there's a radiator like right next to the toilet, right? And it's like they paint on it every year and all this, you know what I mean? It's like just an ugly painted radiator. And someone had like etched in on the radiator, they'd scratched in, all jocks are pussies, all jocks are pieces of shit, fuck football players, right? And then underneath it said, come see me in the parking lot, Judge. Just like this fucking guy. But yeah, no, dude, he was one of those guys. I'll tell you, as far as like, I mean, I didn't have a ton of interactions with him, but like in the weight room and stuff, he wasn't a bad guy. I remember, I thought he was at least a decent enough guy. So, but I didn't have a ton of interactions with him, to tell you the truth. But he wasn't he wasn't a dickhead to the freshmen. So
to be honest, man, like your talent has to be so far and above for you to be able to be shitty to people like on your way up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you want to get recruited, people are going to call your coaches. You want to get into playing college. You're going to have to fit into a dynamic where there's scholarships, where they can bring people in. Like there is a certain amount of like, and now there are guys who are absolute dickheads and are unbelievable athletes that can be, but for most people who want to actually get through the system, it helps not to be a jerk off, because you're going to need a lot of help on the way up, and you're going to need a lot of people, having your back or at least putting in for you. And, don't be, what's that kid's name in the first season of Friday Night Lights? Don't be voodoo, man. Don't be voodoo.
Yeah. I know Peyton Manning was famous for this, is that they didn't haze rookies. He really kicked against it. He's like, look, every great team had contributions from rookies, right? So we don't shit on these rookies. We take care of them. You know what I mean? So like that kind of attitude goes a long way, you know. But they did haze, but they would haze the coaches. And if you're Peyton Manning, you're the fucking coach of the team. So what are you gonna do? But nice. So let's keep it going. So you did football all 4 years, right? And like you graduated, all that stuff. Once you so when you did start playing football, right? You're playing football, you're in high school, and you're working the same time at an all seasons golf course, washing golf carts. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So former guest of the show, friend of the show, and brother to the bad boy Bern Podcasy, the 44th father, the 44th fanatic, the 44th faithful one, Polotsky, aka Jeff Podcasy. He did some cart washing, and he would run the tees. You know what I mean? He ran like the tee box, right?
Yeah.
And he had said, you know, he had talked about an incident that he had. We had to fucking bow up on some guy. You know what I'm saying? But you really didn't. Did you ever run into anything like that, or was just like fucking let's go, let's just keep it moving kind of thing?
I was down like at the bottom of the hill, washing all the carts off at first, and then they tried to put me in a more hands-on situation, more front of house type of situation.
Sure.
They briefly, like maybe once or twice, said, "Hey, you want to be a ranger?" And I'm thinking like Walker, Texas Ranger. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that means. And so you go out and you make sure that the game is moving along.
Yeah.
All right, sure. So I go down the cart. I'm like, yeah, that guy's playing golf. Yeah. You guys got his club. Yeah. That's good.
He seems to be looking for a ball. Yeah.
And I'm also like, yeah, keep it moving. It's like, how fast should it go? I don't have no idea. So that didn't last long. They got a proper person to do that.
Yeah.
They put me in the pro shop with the kitchen as well. There was like a little bar grill kind of situation. Very civilized inside, AC, girls doing the counter at the restaurant section. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. But people would come in to buy stuff from the pro shop there. And I didn't know anything about golf at all. So like I know that these are golf shoes because they say golf shoe on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you gained any knowledge of golf since then?
No. Only that it's the club's not going to help. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah. Golf is a weird game because like it's the one thing where theoretically you probably could play pro. Like you could do it. If you do it, you could do it. And so that's how people judge themselves. And it's berserk because it's like if I'm starting now and I can't dunk at all, let alone dunk from the foul line, but like that's how people treat their golf game. And it's just irrational. Yeah. You got to take it easy on themselves.
Yeah.
The only thing I can play golf a bit on the 5-iron, and it's because my brother, who the biggest person Bernie ever saw, is just such a freak athlete, and it's like he can tell you how to do a move, and he speaks athleticism like a language. He'll just describe how to move your body, and he showed me how to do that once, and I told him about it. He forgot, like years later, he forgot I ever did this. But that's the only golf club I can hit now because he explained it in such a way that it was like such a natural movement. Yeah. But aside from that, no, I'm total garbage.
Nice. Well, that's fun though, right? Yeah. Come on.
But, no, I did not work there the same time as Polotsky though, and I certainly never had any kind of altercations with anybody.
Nice. But dude, I'll tell you, that's one thing I remember talking to, and I want, I think you guys would agree. Like we talked about, like if you could go back in time, because there was a point in time, I think everyone, like if you're doing a sport, everyone finds the time to concentrate and be like, look, this is the sport I'm going to do. And, maybe I'll go to college or maybe I'll do whatever with it. Right. But, had I gone back and been able to concentrate on one sport and like dedicate this much time as I did to like wrestling and boxing and things like that, it definitely might've been golf, just because, right. If you do lift, you're the most jacked guy in the game of golf. Right. And like, if you have any type of cardio, you're the best in shape guy in golf. You know what I mean? Like the sponsorships are out the wazoo. You can make a killing, like you do walk the course, but you don't have to cut 15 pounds to fucking play golf. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if like going back in time, Justin, have you ever played golf?
Oh, love it. Terrible at it, but I love it. Yeah. Dude. Like if I break 100, I'm happy as a clam, but I enjoy you get out for a day. I've never done it sober. Yeah. It's fantastic. Golf's wonderful.
I remember one of the times I went golfing with my dad, I saw him break 3 clubs over his knee when we went golfing. He fucking was just fucking not
I can
having
imagine.
it.
So I had never golfed. I'm in I go with my uncle who's now passed and my other uncle. And we're in North Carolina. He's like, hey, you want to come golf? And I was like, well, I've been to a driving range. I played miniature golf. Sure, I could golf.
Yeah.
So we go the greens fee. We go to a real nice course in North Carolina. The greens fees were like $200. And he looked at me. I was like, I'm not paying for this. Like, and so we're playing, and I'm doing moderately well. My one uncle who is trying very hard looks at me. He's like, you've played before? I was like, no, I haven't. He's like, you fucking played. Like, he's getting so mad, you know. He's like, you fucking played before. I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, I swear to God, this is the first time I've ever hit a 5-iron in my life.
Dude, I'll tell you, this is the key. And I'm going to shout out old buddy of mine, Bill Burke. He's a boxing buddy. But I think it was my brother Tom's birthday. We were doing like a golf thing. And I'm not a golfer. Don't like it. Like, I mean, I'm whatever about it, right? But they're like obsessed, and they're all like fucking got all their own shit. And I'm like borrowing shoes and clubs and like, you know, not doing with anything. And I asked him, I was like, dude, I just don't want to be the guy where chasing my fucking ball everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to disrupt the flow. And he told me, he's like, the key is you put chapstick on the head of the club and you'll never slice because it won't put a spin on the ball. You'll just, if you like, you got to still hit it. Like, you know, you can't be fucking whacking it all over, but if you just give it a nice, good, solid swing, it'll always go straight. Right.
What, spitball?
Dude, exactly. So you put a little chapstick on the head of the club. Dude, we walk up to the first hole. We're at this place, Mainland Golf Course, which isn't, it's not like the fucking Masters, but it's a nice course. Right. And they have like, you know, a clothing fucking gimmick that they fucking their do like dicks about, but whatever.
You gotta wear a collared shirt, can't wear shorts.
Right. So I go up there, right? Like they're all like taking practice swings and like doing all these things, and they all drive off the first tee. I'm the last guy to go up. I got a fucking like backwards hat on, shirt untucked. I fucking flick the cig walking up there. I'm carrying the fucking club like a shillelagh, you know. I just walk up and fucking one time, bam, fucking 250 yards straight down the fairway. And I'm just like, fucking chapstick, you know? Fucking dude, used it the whole day. I was just the short game. What are you going to do? But yeah, the fucking crushing drives all day, just fucking shit banging them. But yeah,
you have to try that.
There you go. So a little chapstick on the head of the golf club. You heard it here, old Uncle Matty. So
I've played 9 holes of golf in my life, and Gallagher was there for them.
Oh, and how'd it go?
I don't remember. Well, we were trying to hit houses because there was a bunch of houses that were next to the course, and the guy we were playing with knew that this one guy was away. Yeah. So we spent most of the time just bombing balls into his backyard trying to hit his house.
Dude, fucking, is that not like there is like, I'll tell you, like going to the batting cages kind of like can suck, but like, dude, I remember like I would go with my brother a couple times and like hit a bucket of balls, right? Like that's a great fucking time. You know what I mean? Just crushing some balls. You don't care like if you're hitting the guy next year or not, and just fucking shebanging them. Like that's a good time. You know, they should, yeah, whatever. So,
was that also the only time you played tennis?
No, I have played tennis otherwise.
I just remember that same dude lighting us up at tennis.
He was
knew how to play tennis.
You were in a foursome?
No,
it was 2-on-1, and he made us look like chumps.
He was killing us.
Yeah.
Wait, so you golfed with this guy, then played tennis with him?
So, all right. So he was in our class. Great dude. Shout out Lawrence Trapani. He's a pilot now. One of the all-time great dudes on the planet. And he lived in this development, and they had a golf course and they had like a tennis court. So we went up to hang. Nice. We went to different middle schools, but we became friends probably because Gallagher became friends with him playing football. Yeah. And then we ended up like hanging out. He invited us up one day and we were up there like, what do you do? He's like, I don't know. You guys ever played golf? We're like, no. And he's like, let's go. I got a cart. And we went out and we just whaled balls at people's houses. And then after that, it was like, you want to go play tennis? And we're like, sure. And he actually knew what he was doing and me and Gallagher didn't. So he was like, I'll just play you guys. And we were like, that's not fair. And it wasn't.
It wasn't
not for the reason that we thought it wasn't going to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. He torched us.
Didn't even give us a game. Give him a game. Yeah.
Dude, that is when you run into someone. I remember like I was hanging out with this chick one time and like I was still fighting at the time and like in like good shape and stuff. And she was like, hey, you want to hang out? And I'm like, yeah, we're fucking hanging out. And she's like, hey, you want to go play tennis? And I was like, okay, I'm a fucking jack dude. What are you gonna do, right? Bro, I was like almost puking with exhaustion because she's just sitting in the middle, boop, 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 and I'm like, yeah, it's dude, if you get someone that knows how to like shoot the ball or whatever, because the whole time I'm just like like I had no, you can't put anything on these things.
I wish they let me play tennis when I was a kid. I'm not bad at tennis, and I didn't play that until I was 28 years old. Pickleball is super fun. I played that a lot.
So I've heard about this pickleball. What is pickleball?
It's basically tennis with a shorter net, and instead of a tennis ball, it's like a hard wiffle ball, and you use a paddle. So like, unlike tennis where it takes like a delicate touch to get the ball over the net, you just give it a good old whack, and the wiffle ball kind of dives down anyway, and it's fun. Yeah,
right. And it's pretty close to the net. You play pretty much
close.
Like badminton close,
kind of
almost,
but a low net.
Yeah, low net, but it's fun. Yeah, get you moving out there, get a little sweat going. Yeah, pickleball. Fun.
Shout out pickleball. All right, you play on clay, you play on grass. What are we playing?
Playing lower Gwinnett courts. Down by the police station.
Asphalt, concrete kind of gimmick.
Broken glass and needles.
US Open. Yeah. US Open style. So nice. Okay. So like we said, you're still in high school when you're working at the golf course. Did you work at the golf course like all through high school?
No, it was more like a junior, senior thing.
Okay.
Once I could drive, because it was not far, but it was far enough that I wasn't like riding bikes.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So like you get your car, you start working at the golf course, but that would be like your only job like while in high school.
Yeah, I worked for like a month at the mini golf place.
Ooh.
But
wait,
it was
the
Rich's Golf and Fun Center.
yes.
Oh baby.
And my parents told me that they didn't enjoy the hours, and I'm pretty sure they were just covering up for the other reasons they didn't want me working there.
What reasons would they be talking about, Dan?
The reasons why I hung out there all the time when I wasn't working.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. All my friends worked there, and there's a lot of places to hide and drink and goof around.
Nice, man. Nice. No, we've shouted out Richie's Golf and Fun Center. Is that
Rich's Golf and Fun Center? Yeah.
Rich's Golf and Fun Center. Shout out Richie Socola, right?
Sicoli.
Shout out Richie Sicoli, fan of the show, listener to the show, hopefully future guest of the show. All right. So, I mean, well, if we did have him on, we'd be incriminating a lot of people, I assume, right?
Because is it still open?
It is not. It is not. It has now been turned into a gun emporium.
Dope.
I love it. Do they own that?
No. And it's pretty weird too, because you walk in and it's like there's where the arcade was. There's a bunch of guns. Hey, there's the ice cream counter. Nope, just guns.
You went in.
It's kind of strange. I did. I had to just pop my head in there and see what it is. They didn't do much with the inside, so it's pretty surreal. You played foosball and got high there in the 90s, and now there's just ARs,
tactical socks, and all the. I'm always amazed at all the other stuff that like they just put tactical on it and put it in the gun shop.
Oh yeah,
I saw that for like tactical lenses. It's sunglasses, but like they're like these are tactical. It's like tactically. Am I? Is it me versus the sun?
I don't want non-tactical sunglasses when you're out there, guys. Come on. Yeah,
it's got a tactical strap.
Is the pizza shop still there?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's like they're famous, right? Isn't it like
tactical pizza?
Yeah, it's tactical cut, tactical box.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, there is something about northeastern Pennsylvania pizza, right? Like I'll tell you, one of the best pizzas I've ever had. My uncle Pat lives in Archibald, right? And Archibald pizza, I'll tell you, man, it was incredible. It's a square pizza. They cut it into rectangles. And like, I think Richie's is the same way, right? Like at least when I had it, it was, and I didn't even get the fresh stuff. He brought down the frozen stuff and it was fucking incredible. Yeah. The big thing you got to know about Northeastern PA, round pies have slices. A round pizza is a pie that you take slices from. A square pizza is a tray that you take cuts from. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. How about it? A little food for thought. Hey, nice. Love it. So, okay. So you would graduate high school, and how was high school for you, Dan? Good time? Oh, great time. Yeah. I had a blast. Buds. Yeah. Nice, man. So wait, was the only play you were in Greece?
In high school, yeah.
Okay.
I always wanted to go out for theater, but they only did musicals, and I don't like musicals as much to do or watch. But my senior year, I was like, damn it, listen, I'm gonna go out. I want to go out. I'm gonna go out. Yeah. And then I'm skipping ahead, but the very first thing I did at college, when they had like the first day orientation, here's all the different activities, was theater. Signed me up immediately. Non-musical.
Yeah.
But actually, it's funny you mention that, because senior year in high school, I'd only done football. And as you know, football is a fall sport. So my senior year, this thing that I was preoccupied with the whole time, I was lifting weights in the off season. I was running, I was getting in shape, focused on this, and, you know, goofing around the entire time.
Right.
So I was like all we did. We had a lot of fun, but football was done in the fall. And I mean, it's not even Thanksgiving. And so I was like, I'm going to do everything that is still available to sign up for. I'm going to do everything. I did mock trial. I did the play, and that was it. But that was still more than I was doing. So it was just like, I'm doing everything I can before we go.
But yeah, you wanted to be Avenger. Honestly, I'll tell you, I bet there's a lot of people out there. Like, I honestly, secretly, I wanted to be a thespian as well. Right. Like, I don't know, man. I always thought like but I didn't want to, like, my dream was I would love to have done stand up. Right. Like someone, like, I would love to have a theater course where they could have taught me stand up. You know what I mean? Or like taught me how to, like, at least just talk in front of a crowd and like present yourself and things like that. And like how to work on stage and everything. Like, I thought that would, like, I would love to do that. But like, you know, they were doing, I mean, the school we went to, they would have like they would have like old Broadway set pieces that they would use. Like, it was like the theater program was like really, really big, but fuck it.
We'll get to college in a second. Are we getting to college? Am I skipping ahead?
We're going to go. Yeah, we're going to go there now. I will say, and we'll talk about it later, I have seen you act, and you're phenomenal. I've seen both you and Bern act several times, and you guys are great. So we'll get more into that later. No, of course. So, all right, we'll keep it moving. So you graduate high school, you're done there. You and Benoit Podcasy head down to the City of Lights, the shiny city, the windy city, the Big Apple, right? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the land of the free, home of the brave, adjacent to Lansdale, PA. So you're in Philadelphia. You go to Villanova, home of the Wildcats, right? So you're going to Nova, as we call it, you know, because we're locals. Locals call it Nova.
Oh yeah. No one's picked up on that. That's a local thing.
Yeah. So you're going to Villanova. You and Bern would room together down there. So, like you said, you went there first day orientation, and Bern had brought this up, where it was like you went to Nova and they're like introducing people, like, where are you from? Oh, Long Island, California, Long Island, Japan, Wilkes-Barre, right? Like, so when you went down there, like, I wouldn't say 44's like a small town kind of isk. It is like a blue collar city, but like, did you have any like kind of like, you know, big city waking up, or like, you know, anything like that? Like, would you culture shock or anything going down there?
Yeah, well, you know, because Villanova's in the main line, you know what I mean? So it wasn't so much big city shock. It was more like a
big money shock.
Yeah, stuff that I thought was nice. Wasn't that nice,
bro?
You know what I mean? That was an adjustment.
Dude, when I like, I would end up working, I would work at Christopher's in Wayne for a number of years. And like, dude, Wayne, Pennsylvania itself is its own little bubble where it's like it's so much money. It is so much money. It's unbelievable the amount of money that you would see around there. And it's crazy. And like, Nova's just like, that's like, nope, you got some money to be in Nova. You know what I'm saying?
I remember asking freshman years, maybe it was cold, so it was probably winter time, and we got to make some friends and get to know some people. So I felt comfortable asking one of the girls, what is the tan plaid thing? Is that like, all the girls have these scarves that are like
tan
and plaid?
Yeah.
And she laughed in my face, as I knew she would, rightfully so. And it was Burberry. And I'm like, so what, is that a thing? She's like, yeah, how do you not know Burberry? I was like,
is it Carhartt? Like, what the hell? Yeah. Like,
yeah. This was not something I was aware of or something I was familiar with. So that was like one of those things. And I owned it because I was like, man, first of all, I'm a dude. I don't know fashion.
Sure.
I just, so that was not something I knew.
No one
was
fucking knew Burberry. Like, come on.
At Nova, it was like a gang sign, man. It was like gang colors.
Really?
Like every girl had this stuff. And I was like,
shit.
something like, because I was thinking it was always like a scarf or like a bag or a thing. It's
like,
it's like a symbol or something. Like, how come? But no one's wearing any other color plaid. How come it's got to be tan? Yeah. No, there was things like that. Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I do like Burberry, but like, I hear you where it's like, I remember like thinking that too, like, what is this kind of thing? And then you find out like what it is, but I'll tell you this.
Well, when the answer doesn't help, you're like, that's Burberry. I was like,
oh, okay. Well, I'm Dan. Hi, Bert. Like
doesn't mean.
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you what though. I'll take a Carhartt jacket 10 times, 100 days a week over anything Burberry. I'll tell you that right now. Love Carhartt. Shout out Carhartt, fan of the show, listener of the show. So, okay. So, you're working there. You're at like you do orientation. You get into. Did you work? Like, did you get a job down there as a freshman or no?
Not as a freshman.
Usually, like that's like an assimilation kind of year, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just getting you're living in the dorm. It's tough to have a job when you're living in the dorm, aka just like, I don't know, fucking brothels or whatever you guys want to call them.
Well, also like as a freshman, you're not really allowed to have a car. Like you got to jump through a ton of hoops to have a car on campus.
Oh yeah.
So it really kind of hamstrings you as far as like you could apply for like a work study job at the school and like work in the library, but it's tough to get around the main line. I mean, there was a train, but we didn't, we'd figure that out in the second semester, first semester was just like, how do my parents are nowhere around. How do I live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much mac and cheese can I get?
La vida loca.
Yeah. How we live in La Vida Loca. Nice. So, okay. So then you're there, like you get through your freshman year. Did you go back home for the summer after your freshman year?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like first time back home after living in the big city?
I actually did a semester abroad, like a 6-week abroad program that summer. Mm-hmm. So, but it wasn't right. It was like July to August.
Where did you go?
Scotland.
What the?
Did a theater study in Edinburgh. Yeah. The Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Fringe Theater Festival.
Oh, they must have fucking eaten you alive. You barrel-chested, dark-haired
I fitted right in there, baby.
Bitch. Oh,
oof. Well, you like to wear tracksuit pants and drink big old things of hard cider right from the 3-liter bottle.
Yeah. Nice. So go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. So what was
anyone want to sponsor? If White Thunder wants to sponsor the show, it was
fan of the show, listen to the show, White Thunder. Yeah.
Well, because I got into theater, like I said, immediately as a freshman.
Yeah.
Not the theater classes, not the theater program, the student-run theater, which I found out, man, I got really lucky because it was always kind of a mess until I was a freshman and this dude who was a junior, and these two people who are juniors, a guy and a girl who are still my very, very close dear friends, they did a coup. They did like a coup d'etat against the leadership of the elected student run board because they were just clown shoes. And they're like, no, we're doing this properly. And I came in just as this was going on and we palled around immediately. And they knew my buddy, James Curcione, who,
James and Val?
Yeah. Well, Val was a year ahead of me. I was actually thinking of Melissa Ryerson. James went on to get his MFA and he
big fan of his work.
Yeah. He was like
Great
a teacher producer of major, like these schools, like these magnet schools that have like huge musical productions.
Yeah.
Like Summer Stage, but not like a different place.
Yeah.
He eventually went on to do all that stuff and like was a teacher.
Great.
So I was like a student there. I didn't know anything about theater really.
Yeah.
Taught me everything you knew. And Melissa we always called her Mel, produced the stuff. She's an executive producer at MSNBC now. I walked into this amazing situation where I was going to learn more about acting and theater and production from these two drinking and smoking than I was ever going to learn in some class. So I had this amazing experience, but they were juniors.
Yeah.
And Val was a year ahead of me. She was in the play too. And she was just like me. We both were just like, this is amazing. And James and Val are married and they're about to have they just had their third kid.
Shut the hell up. That's awesome, man. Dude, big fan of both of them, dude. And what
was so cool because I met them at the same time and they had just started dating. Like we all met within a week. And like, so it was like, I was equal friends with both of them as they were becoming a couple. It was really cool. But I just learned a ton of stuff. But as college went on and they graduated, so I was like, okay, so who else is around? I was like, oh, you're all great. but it's not the same. And now we're doing plays that I'm not as into.
Yeah.
And it became clear that like, I like doing this. I don't know if I could do it professionally because there's a real drag when you're not into it and you have to kind of get into it.
Yeah.
It's not a good show.
Can I intervene here just for a minute? And I want to lay out on a lot of this because me and Danny have a lot of similar experiences, and I don't want to sit on it. So sophomore year at Villanova, we lived on the quad, right, which is right in the middle. It's when you drive by, when you get stopped at that stoplight right in front of Villanova and look to your left, those buildings, those are where all the sophomores live.
Yeah,
right?
Where everyone streaks through, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, Sheehan, Sullivan, Snoop Dogg, those are the three buildings, and me and Dan took an acting class, right, with this woman, this horrible little woman, and Gallagher, like we hung around for a while. I stuck it out. Gallagher ended up taking an F. He just stopped going. And
didn't even drop it. Just was like, no.
Just didn't go. And I was like, dude, this is not hard. You just have to show up and do it. He was like, I really enjoy this. And she makes me not enjoy it. So I'm just going to take the F and keep doing this on my own time.
She's that bad? She was that bad?
Well, let me give you an exercise, right?
Yeah.
She would say things like, close your eyes and imagine if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Oh,
there's like a bunch of 20-year-olds sitting around being like, I don't fucking know, lady. What I
like
only
we're
know
supposed to be making out with each other here.
I only know the name of 3 trees.
Yeah.
But Gallagher, to his credit, because Gallagher is a man of principle, he was like, I don't care. I'll take the F. Every time I step in there, I like this a little bit less, and I really love this. So I'll just take the F and keep doing my student run stuff. And he did. Dude,
that's fucking awesome, man. So then, okay. So you do the student run, you say fuck off to the shitty theater teacher who was probably a washed up fucking piece of shit that never made it and was sad and took it out on all these kids and didn't know how to teach and ruined some people's lives and tried to make other people miserable because she didn't like her own existence. So you said fuck all that and you went to Scotland, right? So you're in Scotland and you're doing the theater thing. So hold on.
There was a small group of students, and there was a couple from Villanova.
Yeah.
And a couple from different schools. And it was a Villanova theater professor who put all this together, clearly just to get a trip out of it. And God bless him for that. It was a great move. And we all got assigned to different productions. Now, Fringe Festival, there's a Philly Fringe, so you're probably a little familiar with this. A Fringe Festival is a citywide festival where people can bring out their shows or their acts or whatever and put them on to audiences who'll come on just to see these shows. Right. And the idea is it's things that aren't getting produced by big stages or big production houses. Yeah. And so you get a lot of weird stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of people on their way up, a lot of people who probably should have quit a long time ago, but are hanging in there. And that's pretty cool. Yeah. And so it's like, all right, what are we going to get assigned to? It's going to be like something experimental, something weird. And the Scotland one, the Edinburgh one of the bigger ones out there. So the city was happening with this. Yeah. Like as the tourist there, if you said I'm with the Fringe, that was cool. Yeah. I got assigned to the local community theater, Leith Theater. Leith is the neighborhood in Scotland. And they were doing this play the whole play was written in, it was like a Castle and Knights kind of thing. Yeah. And it was all written in old Scottish. They call it Loud Scottish. Man. And so I know after hanging with them for their rehearsal and their show, I had no problem with the accent anymore because I was hearing like the raw, pure Scottish accent.
We're going to go to the loch.
Yeah. And so it was really cool. They're all local people. And, theater culture in Britain is very, very strong. Like people go to plays like we'd go to a movie. Yeah. There's theaters everywhere. And so like their community theater it was really part of the community. Like they packed the house. It would almost be like a church, not kind of like a church bazaar. Yeah, totally different atmosphere, like totally different thing, but like that level of enthusiasm, people didn't miss out. And so it's really, really cool to be on that. Definitely not the kind of like weird experimental theater thing. It was the total opposite, but it was actually kind of an awesome experience in that way. Yeah, Dude. And that was but here's the weird thing. So that was after freshman year, summer. Go back in June, back in Northeast PA, seeing everybody again. Most of the people went to school in the Philly area, so I see them all the time anyway. But whatever, we're back and we're going out, and it's kind of like that weird thing when you're back after freshman year of college, where like all the high school references are still there. You know, all the people who are still in high school and stuff. It's kind of like, they graduated. So like, but we just graduated and we're already old news, man. This is like some conveyor belt stuff. But okay. But so then I screw off for 6 weeks and I come back and the weirdest things were like, oh, cool. I'll go out and we'll hang out. And it's like, movies have come out that I didn't even know were going to come out.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it was like they made an American Pie 2. What? Nobody told me that.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So it was weird. It was weird to like go away and come back and get ready for the sophomore year. But it was that. So it was an interesting wrinkle to that summer vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that's nice though, man. Like you
That's
got
cool.
to explore and like, dude, it's like like honestly, Scotland. I know it's like it's not on everyone's top 5 places to go, but Scotland just seems like a fucking banger of a time. Just like they know the deal. Like it's fucking Scotland. Like we're here to fucking go.
Everyone's cool. We went to places where like the local bars and stuff. And some of the locals at different places would hear the bars you go to be like, oh, you got to be careful, you get stabbed in there. I never saw any of that, man. Everyone was super cool. Yeah. I mean, if you make people mad, they get mad at you. But if you don't make people mad, you're pretty cool.
Right. Dude, like you're a big guy. Like you fucking like the worst thing you would get is you would get the opposite. You would get the guys with the beer muscles. Right. Like that's like what you have to watch out for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're not like, but you're not like a dick. But like there'll be some guy that sees like, like there's some guy sees, oh, here's the big guy. He's a fucking mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I never tried to muscle up on anybody.
Yeah. No,
it was a blast. Very good comic shop too, right by the castle. There's a huge castle on this like volcanic plug in the middle of town. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I found a comic shop immediately.
Nice. So so you still, all right. Are you still doing the comics
with you? Oh yeah. I love them.
Dude, that's awesome. That's one thing I wish like I would have gotten into more as a kid. We didn't really have one of those shops though, and I wish we did.
We didn't have a shop. We had them at the convenience stores. They had their spinner rack.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then eventually in Wilkes-Barre, but like on the other side of Wilkes-Barre, it was like very far. There was a proper shop. And once I got my car, man, I was there every Wednesday. New comic book day. I was there every Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah. And they eventually shut down. They retired. Well, in a good way. They didn't like it. They didn't go out of business. They retired. And then I had to find a different spot. But by then we were already going to college. Matter of fact, freshman and sophomore year of at Villanova, New Comic Book Wednesday. I'd be walking down to the comic shop, stop at the Wine and Spirits on the way, walk right back to the dorms. You could see me with the bag in the bag.
Yeah. New bag of comics, new couple bottles of Mad Dog, and that's a good fucking
little Bankers Club.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
I love that I remember when we would be, and we'll get to this more later, but when we were working at Vinny T's, like they would like bring like different professional, like, mixologists and fucking people that would come in like beer talk and talk about booze and stuff. And I remember they told us that Scotch was it's called Scotch because it originated in Scotland and real Scotch is made in Scotland. Right. And then we had a Bankers Club Scotch that was made in Scobeyville, New Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey.
The home of Bankers Club, Scobeyville, New Jersey. You've done me well.
They made them all. They're just bottled. Yeah. They just bottled it there. Some plant. God knows how they make the booze.
Oh, God. I don't even want to. It's just, that stuff. Yeah. That's fucking. I remember, Bern, you taught me this term. Rock gut.
That's bad stuff.
That shit, Mad Dog, dude. I remember drinking Mad Dog, and like you would say, "Oh, that's rock gut, man. Don't drink that." And I was like, "You're right. I'm feeling it. It's not good." So, all right. So let's keep it moving then. So you go home for summer. You do the whole fucking back home thing, right? Then you come back. You're fucking Danny Big Dick on campus. Everybody fucking knows what's going on. You go back to campus, and then did you get a job right away, or how did that work?
It's a bit of a blur here, but somewhere over the line between sophomore and junior year, I did get a job pretty much on campus at a coffee shop. There was a train station the train runs right through the campus, and there's a little train stop there. Yeah. And do you remember the Bean that had like the little coffee shop there?
I don't know.
Well, you wouldn't, Bernie. I somehow got it in there. I had a contact there. I knew somebody who was working there, and they knew I was looking for a job, so they helped me out. I didn't know how to make coffee. I barely even had coffee.
Yeah, I remember.
That has changed because I started working there, and it was a train stop. So you go busy, dead, busy, dead. And so I'd be whapping up these espressos and cappuccinos for people. And then it'd be quiet for a while. And I'd be like, you know what? I'll try one. You know, it smells pretty good. I know how to make them. Maybe I'll try a little one. Addict for life. It's the only food I'm still kind of snobby about is coffee.
Yeah. And cocktail sauce, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But dude,
and cheese balls.
Yes,
of course.
Planters. Get out of here with the odds.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you got any bit of class, you're going planters. So I don't want to, So nice. So you're working there, and how did you like the job as a barista? Fun. I know you're getting whacked up on that caffeine. Dude, like the first couple of weeks of you doing the caffeine, you must have just been fucking popping off everywhere. Just like, oh, hey.
I was like, did you guys know about coffee? Amazing.
Bro, I remember when I went to Europe, there's something different with European coffee. And I feel like, like these coffee bean type of places will have a stronger brew than like a normal, fucking gimme like the whack-a-mole Keurig gimmicks.
Yeah.
But I was in Europe and I had a Turkish coffee, like a real Turkish coffee.
It's the only kind I've ever had. I'm dying to try. There's a Lebanese supermarket near here I want to try because I know they have it.
Bro, if that shit puts a pep in your step and your ass in the John, I'll tell you right now, that fucking stuff, bro. I had
the game's the game. You know what the game is.
Oh, dude, I had one every day. With breakfast. I fucking loved it. It was like, so the gimmick, like it still has shit in the bottom of it, right? Like it rinds.
Yeah, because they don't filter it. Yeah, they just boil it in the little tin, dude,
My mother-in-law knows how to make it, so like they'll make it here every once in a while. Right, bro. And like they make this other stuff called mountain tea with this special herb that grows in Albania. And it's a cure-all herb, But fucking dude, I'm telling you, the Turkish coffee, big fan. Highly recommend.
I'm gonna try that immediately.
You ever having a slow day and you don't want to sleep? Fucking whoa. Yeah, buddy. That'll put some fucking shit on you. All right, so nice. So you're doing the barista thing. Would you start waiting tables and being a barista at the same time? Did you leave the barista place? And if so, why?
I left the on-campus job when we moved off campus, and I got a job at one of those, a barista job at the COSI, those sandwich places.
Okay.
That were kind of like super bougie and like,
right.
And I did that for a couple of months. And then I started waiting tables at this little Mexican place in Bryn Mawr. A little Mexican restaurant called Maritas, which has been out of business for years. So let's call it what it is. They were famous for having cheap beers, cheap booze, great little bar, cheap Mexican food.
Yeah.
Nobody associated with the place was from Mexico or knew anything about Mexican food. The owner was this dude is Indian. So he's like, he just likes it. He just likes the food. He's like, it's pretty easy to make. We'll just make a restaurant. Yeah. And like all the guys in the back were like, they were all white guys from like Delco. So like, but you just fold the burrito. Yeah. And it was good enough. And it was a blast though, because you know how it is in college when you're waiting tables, like, everybody, all your friends are working there, at least like not all your friends are working there, but all the people who are working there are your friends, like at least 2 or 3 of the people, like, the bartender, some of the waiters. So like, people would come in to see them, but them anyway. So you'll hang out after your shift. And it was just a blast. It was a great time. And then I think I made a direct line from there when they shut down, which was like a planned exit. Like they knew they were going out of business. So they just ran out the clock. Then I went to Vinny T's because Bernie had the in there.
So, okay. So we're going to have to do some talking about this. So, we talk about the main line. So if you're not from the Philadelphia area, you won't know this, but the main line is one of the wealthiest places in the world, right? It's Lancaster Avenue. They call it the main line. It's like, it's a bunch of different towns on this one major road. And like, this road is packed with everything, like car dealerships, bars, restaurants, clothing stores, like just anything you can think of, right? But like,
essentially, like, right, it starts at like City Line Ave and it ends in like Malvern.
Correct.
So it spans
miles and miles.
15 miles.
Yeah. And it's nothing but commerce, right? And like you're
in Villanova.
In Villanova. Yeah. But like you would have but like on this road, like there's a ton of different shops, but like some of them are old homes converted to bars, and then some of them are like Ferrari dealerships, right? Like it's just you get like a little bit of everything, and like you would hit like different pockets, like okay, here's a strip of bars, here's a strip of restaurants, right? And then you would go to where we would work at. So the place you're referring to, Vinny T's, aka Vinny Testas, was in Ardmore, right? So there's, I think it's like Wynwood, then Ardmore, Narberth, Wynwood, Ardmore, right?
Technically, it was in Wynwood.
Okay.
Vinny T's was in Wynwood.
Okay, so it was in Wynwood, right? And it was in like a shopping center, and it was an old movie theater that they converted into an Italian restaurant, and it was famous for massive portions, and it kind of was like the originator of family style dining, right? Like in a commercial sense, family style dining. Right. And so that's where all of this would meet, where Dan's life would change forever. He would probably meet the most important person in his life at Vinny T's. And then he would also meet his wife there as well. So Dan, you get the inn at Vinny T's. I'm already there at that point because I started there just before you. Bern, I think you started there just before me. Right.
Yeah.
So you would get all the 44 guys. Richie worked there, right? And Ellen worked there. Dan worked there. And then like you even get like Richie's college buddies, like Timmy, right? Tall Tim, right?
Yeah.
And like there was a bunch of different like good dudes and like, good looking chicks and everything that were like, dude, it was like there'd be on like, think about this, like most like restaurants would have like a normal size restaurant has a wait staff of maybe like 10 people. Then you'd have a cook staff of maybe 6 or 7, right? Depending on the night. Like there'd be nights where we'd have a wait staff of like 17, 16 people, right? And like you'd have all these tables and you're just going. Then you'd also have food runners. Then you'd also have bus boys. Then you'd also have cooks and dishwashers. So it was a lot of people that worked in this place. So then you get to Vinny T's. This is your first waiting gig. You would meet the most important person in your life, the executive producer, editor, and host of the Working Perspectives podcast, Matt Lavelle, aka Uncle Matty. Then you would also meet your wife at this place. So you start working here. I've talked about him on the show before. The boss we all had, Matt Schlott, where say what you want about him, right? I thought he was a good boss. And the reason I thought he was a good boss is because he was an asshole, but he was the same asshole to everybody. He didn't play favorites. He fucking told you how it was. No bullshit. And I like that. So you're working at a restaurant first time. It's an Italian place. It's like a bunch. It was all like young college kids that work there and me and like a bunch of like scumbags, like awesome cooks and like just a bunch of fun. So what did you think about working at this place and your first job as a waiter? Go ahead.
Loved it. Loved it. It was all the reasons you just said. There was a ton of energy, a ton of people. And the money was fine, but it was really more just like it was almost like a hangout all the time. Yeah. And even just like stepping in the back or stepping outside, people having smokes or whatever, just hanging out. Not even smoking, I hung out outside. Yeah. And a lot of energy. Like even if people weren't tight, they'd hang out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there was a bar in the corner, Yates, that we go to after shift sometimes. Yeah. And it was just like, even if you didn't say, hey, let's go to the bar, you would just go over there. Someone will be over there. You know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. Yeah. And it's cool when so many people are, it's like a transition kind of job. So like all these different people from all these different situations are all coming through. And so there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of like, that kind of energy of being, in your 20s, but also of being like, I'm not going to be here too long in this particular spot. So let's have some fun while we're here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And it was like, dude, it was just a bunch of young, horny kids wanting to party that went to colleges and like everyone liked sports and hanging out. And I will say this, and I didn't partake in this, and I know you guys didn't either, but the hospitality industry as a whole is infamous for being a drug den. Drugs are everywhere in the hospitality industry. I never partook, and I know you two didn't either. But it's just like, when you're first coming into that and you're getting to know people and getting to know like how the game works and how the place is, and you're meeting like all these different, like, good looking people, fun people hanging out. It is a good time. Also, there's like you get free food, and for a bunch of poor like living on your own kids, like that was one of the biggest things that everyone loves. But yeah,
it was also kind of nice about the room itself. Like you said, it was an old movie theater.
Yeah,
it blasted out on the walls, so the ceiling was like 30 feet high.
Yeah.
It was this big open room.
Massive.
So even though you had all these people in there and the kitchen going and everything, you never felt like hot and like stuffy.
Yeah.
And so there was plenty of room to move around and different places to go to. And you could really get a walk going once you got going in there.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that sense of like being in a greasy little spot. Like it was cool.
I wish we could shout out everybody from there, but we don't have the time.
We'd be here all day.
Yeah, we'd be here all day. But yeah, it was, it was awesome. So nice, man. So you're working there, and then we'd all be working there for a little bit, right? And then one day they would hire this young lady who seemed just like the nicest young lady. And how did you approach her? How did you woo her, as it would go? Like, how did all that take off?
Well, I was a little bit too cool.
I mean,
at first,
it's
obviously.
True. It's true.
I don't mean cool in a cool way. I mean cool in like a too laid back way. Because like I said, Yates was the bar in the corner. People go to Yates after work.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to ask for like a chill like hangout. Like, hey, you want to? A lot of us are going. You want to come? Yes, come on. Yeah, it's a big. A lot of people go.
Yeah.
She took that to mean like, oh, it's gonna be a hangout. So she went and got a roommate and came over. It was me. I was like, okay. I was too nonchalant about that.
Yeah.
And she figured that out immediately because she's way smarter than me. And then the next time I was like, maybe just the two of us go. And man, it was not even that complicated. Like when it fits, it fits. And we hit it off right away.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I know your wife, and she's a sweetheart, man. And dude, thanks, you're a lucky guy. There'd be a couple people that would meet their wives at this place. Bern?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yep.
I sure did. And I really executed well. Like she had a boyfriend. He also worked there. He was a sweet guy. He never stood a chance. I zeroed in. I made her a bartender. It was only a matter of time. But no. There's been a lot of real love connections. A lot of babies. A lot of babies coming out of
Truth.
Vinny T's.
Baby tees.
Baby tees.
Yeah.
Baby tees.
I was just about I'm gonna have to cut this. I was just about to be like, wait, did T knock up Kelly?
Oh shit.
No. She's married to someone else and has a kid. T just had twins like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
Facebook. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love T.
He's got like two little dudes who are like a year and a half.
That's awesome.
I think
I'm friends with him. I gotta check him out.
Dude, is he on Facebook? I wonder if
he's on. He's on.
But he uses his name. I'm like, who? Oh, T. Okay.
Yeah.
Tyrande?
Yeah.
It's Tyrandy. Okay.
Tyrandy Rozier.
Tyrandy Rozier. Yeah. Shout out Tyrandy Rozier. T. Love him. Dude, T was the fucking best.
That's the harm when you only know people's nicknames, though. You're like, wait, oh yeah, I guess this person has an actual like name.
Yeah.
Dude,
I will never be able to find them again for the rest of my life.
Yeah. T and Shawnzy Hunterelli. Right, like everyone.
Oh, that little dude. Is he still alive? What are the odds that he's still alive?
Oh, Shawnzy Hunterelli, shout out. Yeah, I mean, I hope so, man. He was
all right, but it's got to be like 6-1.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way. I love that kid to death, but he was just going like, man, he went down so many wrong roads. Poor fucking kid. Yeah,
that's the Facebook guy who just remembered who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Place was like, oh yeah, yep.
Food runner, Shawnzy.
Maniac, dude,
little skinny guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can't do that many drugs when you weigh 80 pounds, man. You know, like it's gonna catch up.
Yeah.
You're too small. Like, you're too small, son. You're too small for it.
Yeah. And he's like one of those. And he'd like to fight, and it wasn't a great scenario for him, but he was big fan. All right. So
anywho.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. So then you leave Vinny T's, and you're leaving there, but you left there with a little something. You left there with a friendship that would last forever, and then also your wife. So,
honestly, a lot of friendships.
Yeah, dude, I would love, dude. Let's fucking try to get a Vinny T's round table going here, okay? There's a lot of people we wouldn't be allowed to bring because I'm married.
I can get Jana.
Really? Oh, I would love to get Jana on the show.
I can get Jana.
and she's safe to have on the show because
Yeah.
I never slept.
Yeah,
but no, I dude, Jana is like one of my favorites. I love Jana. She's awesome. Big fan.
I'm still in touch. I can get her.
Dude, get her on this. Dude, Jana might be the best person to ever have on the show. So, all right, so let's keep it moving. So after you get done Vinny T's, you leave there, and then did you go right to an office job after Vinny T, like a pseudo office job?
No, yeah, pretty much. I had
Go ahead.
For like a month, I was with this recruiting group down in Center City, where they were trying to do like headhunting for IT.
Yeah.
And it was just a mess. I mean, they like didn't have like computers for people. They would just be like, all right, let's call people up and try to get appointments.
Yeah.
And I was like, to do what? Like to talk. It's like, but about what?
Yeah.
And, you know, they would just rip through new college grads. They paid all right, but it was my first job. I had a blank resume aside from it. So I needed something. But at one point, the guy was trying to get me to understand the role. And he's like, you know, man, you're being very accommodating. You're getting people on the phone and you're just like letting them drive the conversation. You're not being sales or anything. I mean, this isn't customer service. And as I'm going like, I'm thinking, customer service, you say. So like, I'm naturally good at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I immediately checked this was the monster.com and found a job in Conchi doing customer service for this not-for-profit that was right in West Conchi.
Nice.
And great.
But just for those listening out of state, by Conchi, he means Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
So
if you're on the Blue Route, it's the well. If you know the Blue Route, you know Conchi.
Now all the people from out of state know what we're talking about.
Right.
Now this all fits into place.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Conshohocken. Oh.
If you're from Conchi,
surely he meant West Conshohocken, correct?
Yeah. If you're from Conchi, you don't call it Conchi, call it Conchi. From Conchi. Right. So I mean, I found that out. But sorry, I interrupted you. You were going great. My fault. No one gives a shit where Conshohocken is. Nope. You're right. Let's keep it going.
Great. It was an office job, but it was a very small company, like maybe 150 people.
Yeah.
Really, really, really great culture. Everyone looked out for each other. There was no backstabbing or anything.
Nice.
There was no everyone. Yeah, really rare, really good. And like people who had been around knew that. They were like, they knew they had a nice place there.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, when my brother moved to town, he was looking for a job. I was like, you got to get in here.
Yeah.
You got to get in here. This is spot.
Nice.
And he did. He's actually still there. And
nice.
Yeah, really great spot. In fact, they had a tuition program that they'd pay for you to get like a master's. And I'm like, cool. I want to get a film degree. They're like, no, like a proper thing.
Yeah,
so
business club.
Yeah, so I was like, well, man, if you're paying for it,
right?
You know, so almost like as a laugh, I was like, I'll take the GMAT, see how I do.
Yeah.
And then I get my score, and I'm like, I don't know enough about the GMATs to know if that's a good score.
Yeah.
But I started applying places, and St. Joe's took me. And the whole time it was almost like a game of chicken. I was like, oh, fine, I'll take the test. Fine, I'll apply to the school. Fine, they let me in. I guess I'll go to the classes. And then I'm like, years into this, I'm like, am I really doing this?
Yeah.
But they paid for it. They only paid enough for me to go like part-time, like one class a semester, which turned out to be all right.
Yeah.
At first I thought like, man, this is easy. I'm getting my MBA. This isn't so hard. That's because I never took a single business or finance class as an undergrad. Because I was, Theater Magoo. I was doing like English and history and stuff. And I was taking undergrad classes. And they weren't that hard because for a college graduate, you can do college courses. And then I hit the graduate level and it was just a brick wall. Just like, nope, I don't understand anything you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that was rough because then it was also like, because the company was paying for it, I wasn't out of pocket anything. So I could really just walk away from this train wreck anytime I wanted to.
Yeah.
But my wife always kept me honest. She was like, no, stop it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And then I just
good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then I just applied myself. And then the funny thing is, of course, now the stuff that was giving me so much trouble is child's play. But you had to power through and really get what's going on, put the work in. And so, I kept on that. And then like it's 7 years of night school later, a month before my first kid was born, I got my MBA.
Oh, good on you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
But even though, I liked where I was working, but like I said, there was not a big company. So also not a lot of room.
Yeah. Growth.
Everyone had their jobs. Well, and mind you, this would have been like 2013. So like the 2009 crash, no one retired. Yeah. And so at a small company like that, the people who have the nice cushy jobs up here have to retire so that everyone else down here can go up here. And that wasn't happening. And even if it did, it was like, well, there's not enough to go around. And I got this MBA. I should probably like use it. And so I got a job at one of the big financial firms out in the burbs where it was like just a massive multinational situation. I won't say what, but that was my first job in finance, and I got in and I was just answering the phone. I was basically doing it, just answering the phones again. But this time, honestly, every job I've had has just been waiting tables. It's just been like different stuff on the menu.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just getting the people what they want and like making sure they don't have allergies. That's all I do. But this started with this, and then I bopped around in that company a little bit, different roles in the financial sector, and learning a ton. And it's kind of the same situation, man. They had a program where you could get your CFP, which is Certified Financial Planner, which is like a professional degree. Very, very tough test. You got to study for a year to even take the test. Yeah. And then there's fees involved. They would spring for the schooling. They would spring for the test. Yeah. No strings. I could leave the day after I passed the test. And so I'm like, all right, man, this worked out last time. Let's do it again. Yeah. Yeah. You know,
chicken again.
Yeah. Load them up. And so started doing that, got my CFP there. That was a very like niche firm, like the big company. They really handled like people's like retirement accounts and investments and stuff, but they didn't do all the other stuff. And it was so big that I couldn't have clients. Like I would have people in my life be like, hey, can you handle my money? And be like, no, because I got to like, it would be a favoritism. So I got to be dealing with strangers and only, it's kind of like, so I'm out of there, and now I'm doing that. Now I'm like a full-on financial professional, where I can do that. I can be like, you're my clients. I can be selective about my clients and be like, who am I gonna? And I actually really love it because like, a lot of people, man, this is probably not gonna break anyone's minds here. A lot of people get into finance to chase money. Yeah, and they'll be like, watch Wolf of Wall Street and think like that dude's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's like they watch. What was the one? They like Boiler Room. Yeah, so the young guys coming up at the place I was at, where I was like, guys, this is. I came to it differently because I was in my 30s when I got my MBA and I had kids. So like I was able to talk to people who were just trying to save so that they could someday retire or get their kids through college. Yeah, and so I spoke to them on that level. Yeah, and that is what I can do now to be like, we're not going to be doing options on GameStop derivatives and stuff like this. We're just going to talk about your actual. It's weird to have to like remind people like we're talking about your life savings, so let's not dick around. Let's be safe and sensible here. Yeah. But I can do that and be like, because my goal, my dream is to have everybody just be retired and be able to just do whatever they want to all the time.
Fuck yeah, man.
You know what I mean? That's the goal. So like I want to do that for as many people as possible.
Dude, that's great.
Because that's the dream, man. To be able to wake up and be like, I know there's all about work and perspectives, but how about just not even working, just being like, or working on whatever you want, like basically being your own boss. That's what retirement's all about. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, there's ways to get there. It's just, you got to prepare and get the math. And that's what I've been trained how to do. But like, that's what my focus is really on, is just helping people sort stuff out. And it was a weird road to get there. Like you had to do all that stuff with the people who were just trying to move some money around and talk about wealth management and stuff like this. Yeah. Wealth management is what they call it when you basically just handle money, like a big old pile of money for somebody. And it's like, you have so much wealth, you can't manage it. You got to call in a professional to just like, and at that point, like, it's like, buy the Lambo, who cares? You can't go broke. So just do whatever you want. And I'm like, am I even really helping here? You know what I mean? Whereas with someone who like people like us who are like
blue collar,
I got jobs, but like people get the wrong idea. I've helped people who are retiring with way less than you might think. Yeah. But you mix it with Social Security, maybe you paid off your house a few years ago. This can be done. And you just got to know what you're doing. It's really rewarding to be able to actually impact somebody like that. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's incredible, man. And that's awesome that you're doing that. And that's your view. Because like you said, there is a lot of people that their view is fucking, I want the yacht with the lobsters yelling at the FBI. And you're like, no, I want to help the people like me. I want to help the people with a family to, peace of mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's tough too, because like people will get, when you start out, you're just trying to pay your bills. Yeah. You're not thinking long-term. You don't have a plan. You're just trying to get your job, get your paycheck, get your bills paid. Yeah. But then people don't reflect. They stay in that mode. Mm-hmm. And then almost, I don't even know if they're always aware of it, but like, even though they're in their jobs for a while, their career's going good, they're making more money, they'll just grow their bills. And it's like, they'll get a car that's fancier than they really need. Or like, you know what I mean? Like for whatever reason, they just want to be like, they want, I guess it's natural to want nice things, but no one's got perspective. And it's like, dude, if you just chill on this and just get a nice, get the Chevy, it's nice. Yeah. You can chill and then think long-term, and then you'll be able to honestly retire in your 50s instead of working to your 70s if you think this thing out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can Gary V it, do that,
Well, it's tough to come up for air is the real thing. Like, day to day, man, you talk about finances. All the time people get like embarrassed when they talk to me. They're like, I don't really know much about this. And I'm like, I went to master's school for 7 years. I studied another year, took this massive test. I've been working on this for years. I only know this stuff because I did all that. Like, it's hard. I don't know. I don't know your job. I couldn't like show up at your job tomorrow and do it. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So like, people, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just a service. It's like, I don't get embarrassed calling the plumber because I don't know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just a money plumber is how I look at it.
Dude, you're exactly right. It is crazy too. Like I just got a new role at my place, and the role that I'm in now is, and I think about this all the time, it's really is like you're waiting tables, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're dealing with the client, right? They come in, they sit down, they order, right? They order from you. You then put their order in. Then your job is to maintain with them how everything's going. Right? Like
that's exactly
you have to know,
it,
like, okay, well, here's your first course. Do you need more water? Do you need more of this? Do you need more of this? Okay. And we don't have this. You just have to keep communication lines open, and then like just make sure they know what's going on and things like that. Right. Like,
and you got to talk to the kitchen.
Yep. And you're the one that communicates with the guys in the back. You're the one that, dude, you're exactly right. That's
all the job is.
That's all it is.
Those skills you learn waiting tables like that apply to finance. They apply to anything, really. But certainly have applied to me, man, where it's like I'm talking one way to this customer, this client. Dude. I'm talking another way to the processors they got a stack of stuff they get through before they can get to that.
No one has to talk to people. Dude, that's one thing I feel like that's something that'll probably be a course, if it isn't already in colleges, is like, being a people person, right? Like having good like communication skills and like people skills, right? That is such a dying thing nowadays that like if you're just polite and like know how to talk to different people different ways and make them feel comfortable, bro, you can just fucking like, you can do whatever. And if you like, I think too, like working in the service industry shows like this is hard work, like teaches you how to work hard, but like shows you like, look, if you can do this, you can do that. Like you can get this job and you can succeed. And like, I'll tell you, man, there was a long time I worked in the service industry for a long time. And I would think like, dude, I can't work in an office, right? Like, look at me. I didn't go to college. I've been, whatever, bartending, right? Like how could I work in an office? And that's not the case. People don't realize how overqualified they are to work in an office. You just have to learn what you're doing and do it. It's like,
the computer system at your point of sale at the restaurant is as complicated as anything they're using in the office.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. And you use it 5 times, you start getting used to it, and it's not as bad as you think.
You get the hang of it.
Yeah. Nice, dude. Awesome. So let's keep it moving. So real quick though, would you be cool? And I know we talked about this in the pre-show. Would you be cool like to talk about like what a day in the life is like for you at your job?
Yeah.
Go ahead. So
positively.
Yeah. So, all right. So real quick, then we talked about like what your ambitions are and your ideas and how you view like your current job, but what is like a day in the life like at your job right now?
I work from home. Okay. So I keep it's always kind of a rolling thing because when I started this, I started my position now where I'm just a CFP. I'm an advisor out there in the wild. Like I'm through a licensed like entity.
Yeah.
But it's basically just me. And I started this and it was my first time. I wasn't like a regular old show up at the office job. And I started in the early 2020 perfect time to get out there and meet people.
Oh yeah.
So that was rough, but it also gave me time to like noodle it out and figure out like the thing is I am licensed to do stocks, bonds, mutual funds, EFTs,
and you're licensed to sell insurance. Wow.
Life insurance, property and casualty insurance, Medicare supplement insurance, and Medicare Advantage plans. Because I'm just a junkie for learning new things, and once I realized I could do one thing, I could do everything. Problem is, you're doing everything. So what are you doing today? Like you got to pick a thing to do. So that's a big part. Is I maintain relationships with people I already knew, clients I already have, people who I'm out there on the social media. Everybody knows me, so like I'll get people reach out to me out of nowhere. I'll get people that like we talked a while ago and we let it drop. Let me call them up and see what they're thinking about doing, and I'll consult with people mostly though, like it's just I guess they call it networking, but just talking to people. And no one told me that. It's like, oh, I got a network. What does that mean? It's like, go to happy hour and like with your friends and talk to people. So, okay.
You'd be surprised how much like you just drop something and people are like, oh.
Yeah.
And it's the last person too that you're like, oh wow, this person's interested. Okay.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah. And now, as the CFP, I do a lot of consultations with people, just like, even if nothing comes of it, that's a big thing I do during the day is just talk to people about their situations. And sometimes it's like, we'll get back to this later. This isn't the right move for you now. The biggest thing is also just letting people know what I do. Because like even people who I know and hear me talk about all the time don't realize, like, you want to talk to an advisor or a planner like myself, I'm not fee-based. So we can have an hour-long meeting and it doesn't cost you.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've had people be like, they took up an hour and a half of my time and there's not going to get anything through me just because it's not the right fit. And they're like, can I pay for your time? And I'm like, please don't, because I'll actually lose my license if you do. So don't do that. So yeah, my day in the life changes all the time, which is actually fantastic because I got two little kids and I can drop them off at school and I can walk right down the street and pick them up from their school. And I have a whole lot of freedom to do that. It's really great. And it's because I got all these accreditations. You know, I got the MBA, I got the CFP, and I've kind of put in the learning to be a resource to people, so that when they do, need me, I'm there. And then when they do make a move, very rarely for the stuff I do my clients ever pay me. It's usually because this isn't trading places anymore. You know, there's no like buy, sell. I'm not down on the floor. I'm just setting them up with the product that works for them. Everything, the Wild West has been settled for what I do. There's still crazy stuff out there. I don't touch that stuff because, like I said, it's people's life savings. I'm not trying to mess around. So if I put someone into a thing that I've done the research on and they know me, they know I'm steering them the right way, whether it be a life insurance or a retirement package thing, the company pays me. They don't pay me. So like I'm actually, now that depends on the person. I deliberately look for things where if you put in $10,000, your balance is $10,000 to start with. No fees, no nothing. Like there's products that are not that way. And there are products that are that way. I try to do that as much as I feasibly can, and usually I can. But that
and you try to like break even for like help them
exactly.
Break even
starting.
at the start.
You're starting right where you came in. You're not in a hole.
There's no overhead BS kind of thing, but that's all depending. I understand that.
It all depends on and it depends on the advisor. So it depends on who you're talking to about who's going to do that. So yeah, my day in the life is really fluid. So some days I'll be Jen. Some days I'll be like, I have a ton to do and not a lot of time to do it. And other times, get the kids to school, go out for a run, stretch out a little bit, come back and be like, okay, I've got these people to call. I've got these people to call. I got to follow up on this, and this. It's always in motion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's nice. That's awesome though.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool because it's never boring,
Yeah. And and you like what you're doing, man, and you're passionate about it, and like you're like researching and learning about it, and that's awesome, man. Like
it's tough though because I'll over explain. That's a big killer for me because I think that everyone finds this stuff as fascinating as I do.
I love it.
Jump into it about
dude. I like
anybody who has a wife understands that. Like you're talking about to your wife about something that you think that like, how could everyone not be fascinated by this? And then you just watch your eyes glaze over after about 3 minutes and you go, okay, but I only have a minute left. I'm going to finish this. She hasn't told me to shut up. She hasn't immediately said like, that if I mustered all the energy I had in my body right now, I couldn't give a shit about this, but you seem excited about it.
Like,
so
it means something to you to finish this.
Just finish up. Finish up.
And they're going to play along and be nice. And it's great. It's great. Dan, how old are your kids?
8 and about to turn 5. Turns 5 on Sunday.
Do they still are they still excited to see you after school?
Yeah.
Isn't that the fucking best thing?
It's the best thing on the earth.
There's nothing better when like my daughter will come running to like the door at school. I fucking love it. There's nothing better in the world, dude.
Now it's not 100%. Sometimes
it's just
sometimes it's just like sometimes it's just like I didn't need that jacket.
Yeah.
I didn't need that jacket. You said to take a jacket. I need a jacket. It's in my backpack. Carry it. Carry my backpack.
Yeah. Asshole.
Exactly.
Asshole.
Fucking what do you know about jackets, jerk
I'm
off?
schlepping this jacket around all day now because of you, not knowing weather.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Come on, get your shit, Dad. You're supposed to know what the yeah. Nice. So, all right, we're coming to the top of time. Before we get out of here, there is one question I would like to ask you, and I've asked you this before, but I would like to hear if you have an enlightened opinion about this, because I believe it's been almost 10 years since I've asked you this question.
Oh, wow.
The question is, and Bern, you can rein in on this too. Who is cooler, Indiana Jones or Han Solo?
What a mean thing to do to your guest. I mean, I can speak, and I'm gonna vamp a little bit. I'm gonna give Gallagher some time to get his answer together.
Please do. I got
because I know this is going to be a very thoughtful consideration. Wow, talk about just shooting one right through your boy's heart here.
It's not the first time I've asked him this, but I do want to hear. I do remember what he said last time, but I'm excited to hear what he says this time. But go ahead, Bern. What are your thoughts?
Has age or experience changed his perspective? Listen, for me, it's going to be it's still Han Solo. It was Han Solo when I was 9. It's Han Solo when I'm 39.
Nothing against Indy.
No, and I would say that, like, Indiana Jones. You remember when you asked me what my favorite movie was when I was 10 years old, and my answer was easily Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. There was nothing that was cooler in the world at 10 years old.
No ticket.
Yeah, right.
When he throws him off the blimp.
Yeah. The best. It's just tough to. You're not going to beat Han Solo for me personally. Even as I've gotten older, I have not matured into the kind of professional that Indiana Jones is.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of out there nerf herding, you know?
Sure. Aren't we all? Aren't we? I mean, isn't there a nerf herder inside of all of us?
Well, I'd like to think so.
A smuggler.
A smuggler, a cad, a scoundrel.
Dude, nobody's knocked more people out with one straight right than Indiana Jones has.
That's true.
The right-handed god,
That's true. That's
just
true.
Dropping cats.
His right haymaker is
it makes so much noise, yo.
Oh. I know, and like you've all heard the story of like why he shot the guy in the
poop.
Yeah, because he had the shits that day. Yeah. He's like, I'm not doing a fight scene. Dude, fucking love it. So good, right? So good. Fucking love it. So nice.
All right, though. I mean, so Gallagher. I mean,
yeah, what's your answer?
All right, pros and cons here, man. Pros and cons. Indiana Jones is a professor who just kind of takes off and goes to all spots of the world. He speaks every language.
I'm just letting you know. I have your previous answer written down, and I will read it after you give this one.
Okay. I have no recollection of ever being asked this question, by the way.
Yeah, this is incredible.
All right. So I'm weighing pros and cons. Indy, extremely cool. Iconic hat, jacket combo. Uses the whip. No one else uses the whip. No one else can use the whip.
He's in
all of film. That's done.
Like, he owns it. The whip.
And out of nowhere, who uses a whip? Indy. It was never weird. You never know. This guy's got a whip for it.
Right. Zorro could go whip.
Zorro could. But Zorro could go for whip. And that's grandfathered in. If you make a new Zorro, you can use the whip because that's grandfathered in.
Right. But Indy,
he had the hat.
Indy's got the whip.
He's got the death traps. He's got the girls. He's got the fight Nazis
rocks
all the time.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Hates
Nazis. Just hates
some Nazis. Hates them.
And snakes.
He survived a plane crash in a boat.
Yeah, crazy. In terms of stunt, he's way better. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of stunts,
he does hate snakes. Good shout.
The thing is, having a spaceship is cool, but having the fastest spaceship in the galaxy and your co-pilot's Chewbacca the Wookiee is the coolest thing.
Pretty cool
that you can be.
Yeah,
and that's just it. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
No,
but the hat is cool, but the Millennium Falcon is cooler.
And he had a pretty and don't forget the vest. Pretty sweet vest.
The vest was solid.
The vest was
solid.
And a laser blaster.
Oh,
Yeah.
great
Harrison
blaster.
Harrison Ford wasn't going on set in between 1976 and 1985 and not looking
Incredible.
badass.
Just impeccable.
Like
yeah. He was,
So it's an absolute photo finish, but I'm going to go with Han Solo.
All right. So this is from July 8th, 2010 at 8:59 p.m.
This is incredible.
I asked Gallagher, I know this is a
Under
very
what circumstances?
this is on Facebook.
Okay.
So I said, I know this is a very personal subject, but I must know who's cooler, Indiana Jones or Han Solo. You replied, I will sleep on it and reply in the morning. It is a deep, deep question. And I said, I expect nothing less. The following day, July 9th, 2010 at 8:55 a.m. Okay, I thought it over.
Another busy day at the office.
Yeah. Okay. So this is you. Okay, I thought it over. Here are my thoughts. Indiana Jones is the absolute pinnacle of awesome. He gets every girl. He saves every day. He speaks every language. He's been everywhere, seen it all, done it all, beat Nazis at every turn. He walks fearlessly into places that no one else would dare. That's fucking good.
That's pretty cool.
But he is not a space cowboy. Han Solo is the gunslinging pilot and captain of the single coolest ship in the history of sci-fi.
It hasn't changed.
He nailed the greatest chick in the galaxy, hung around with the most powerful Jedi, and he wasn't impressed. That's in parentheses, by the way. And made stopping the Empire look easy. Also, his best friend was Chewbacca, the Wookiee, basically Bigfoot. He's a space cowboy who hangs with Bigfoot. Clincher in Empire Strikes Back, when the doors open on Cloud City and there's Vader in the banquet room, everyone else is shocked. Lando double-crossed them, everyone but Han Solo. He doesn't hesitate for a second, pulls his gun and fires at Vader's heart. Vader, of course, isn't about to go out like that, but how about the stones on Solo? He can't get away, but he might as well take Vader down with him. So, in a very difficult decision, must say Han Solo is cooler. Fucking A, man. Fucking A.
It's
Nice,
a
man.
good argument.
I still got it.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is the kind of thoughtfulness and consistency. This is the guy you want managing your money.
Yes.
All right, you know he's going
Yes.
to think it through.
Times change, but the fundamentals are sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Times change, but you know if there's a philosophy and an interest and a love and a concern, it's going to bleed through.
I just read my response to what he wrote. I quoted the movie. I wrote in quotes, Princess Leia, I love you. Then the response from Han Huge Cock Solo is, I know. Is there anything fucking cooler than that? Come on. I used to love doing that to my wife. I'll be like, I love you. And she'll say, I love you back. And I'll just say, I know. And fucking, is there anything? I said it first. And it's still fucking the coolest thing. Right? Like, come on.
It was Harrison Ford's line. You know that?
Yeah.
I read that in the behind the scenes on Empire. Like they had him saying, I love you back. And it just wasn't working. He was like, so the director was like, what would you say? He was just, I say, I know.
Yeah.
That's good. Use that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He's the best.
The fucking gabash on him. God damn. Fucking love Harrison Ford. Is he dead or is he still alive?
No, he's alive. He lives.
They're making another one.
He's shooting an
Indiana
indie
Jones.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I mean, we have mixed opinions about the Crystal Skulls. I think we all, well, not mixed. I think we all hated it, right?
No, loved it.
Not true.
I mean, I'll
Loved
watch it.
What?
Loved it.
I'm still in for the ride.
Yeah.
Really, Dan?
Loved
I
it.
still haven't. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Crystal Skull?
Didn't your
No.
brothers throw up after watching it or something, if I remember correctly?
No, they like stormed out of the movie theater. But then I talked to a couple months ago. Just a little bird walk here. Gallagher and I and former guest of the show Murph and future guest of the show Dino were in the middle of doing a shirtless house party.
Love it.
Because Dino lives in California, Murph lives in Oregon. And I did throw out, like, I've never seen Crystal Skull. I heard it was a piece of shit, but that was 10 years ago. What do you say? And Gallagher and Dino were like, it's not great, but it's definitely worth the watch. And so I've taken it off the no-fly list. I just haven't gotten to it just yet. But I have yet to see Crystal Skull.
Well, yeah.
When you as a fan of that, I understand that. I love Major League so much. I've never watched the sequel because I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we talked. Oh man, we talked about this. Major League One had everything. So good. And I'm just fine with the Indians winning the pennant, and I can just leave it there. And then the second one's rated PG though. Second one's rated PG. Tough to go from
13.
Don't give me that Olay bullshit, Dorn.
Yeah. Tough to go from Major League, which had violence, profanity, and nudity, to a PG sequel.
Yeah. You didn't even see the direct to VHS release starring Scott Bakula.
The third one, Back to the Minors?
Major League Back to the Minors.
Oh, no. I've never seen that one either, yeah.
It's also starring Walton Goggins, I think is his name.
He's awesome.
He was in like The Hateful Eight and
he was on Justified forever.
He was on Justified. If you saw him, you'd be like, that guy with the big teeth. Yeah.
He played the weird like tranny prostitute in Sons of Anarchy. He was in that weird Predators movie with Adrian Brody. Yeah, Walton Goggins rules.
Yeah. So all right. So we're coming to the top of time. I'll tell you what, man, dude, we were fucking I know we booked this quick and like got it done quick, but I'll tell you, I've been looking forward to this all week. I was really no, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. Bern, thank you for fucking hooking this up. Like this, I knew this was going to be a good fucking show, and it fucking delivered, man. You're always a great time to talk to. Love talking with you, love hanging. Fucking so happy you came on the show. Before we get out of here, Dan, is there anything you would like to say to the listening, viewing public before we take off?
Just thanks. I had a lot of fun. This was a blast.
Dude, this was great. And I know we're all usually in agreement with this, boys, but Dan, if you'd be willing, we'd love to have you back on the show.
Yeah, I'd love it. This is a great time.
Awesome. And just really quick, Gallagher, where can people find you if they're interested in making some money work? What's the best reach out for you?
We'll have and whatever he says, we're gonna have all the links to everything for Dan in the description of this episode. Good.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, thanks, Bern. Sorry, good save there. I fucking forgot.
There's all sorts of marketing rules about naming companies or websites or anything. So how about I'll give you this number. Phone number, okay?
Well, you don't even have to say it here. We'll just have the information available.
Oh, okay, that'd be good. Yeah, because then I can vet it and make sure that's okay. Because there's also in my industry, there's all sorts of stuff, and
even if it's just your socials that allow someone to reach out to you.
Yeah, I'm Dan Gallagher. I'm a friend of the show. I'm a fan of the show. It'll be in the post, and I'll make sure. Oh, that's our Facebook show. I'll comment on the Spotify.
If you send me the links to your whatever, I'll put it in the description of this episode.
Financial Dan. Yeah, I've got a Facebook page to put on there. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, we'll have the link to Financial Dan in the description of this episode. Bern, thanks for the save there. Completely forgot. Jdub, anything you want to say to the adoring fan base before we take off?
Nope. Be safe. Indiana Jones is cool. So is Han Solo. Everybody be good.
Yeah, awesome. Benoit Podcasy, before we take off, the 44th father, anything you would like to say?
No, listen, it was a pleasure to be on. This is my boy, like I said, the DPG. His friends call him Gallagher. We're thick as thieves. Danny, I'm going to a bachelor party in Denver this weekend, and so I went out and got a copy of Dune today. So nice. I'm gonna knock that out on the plane.
Wait, like a book?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck on me.
Yeah,
wait,
pages and everything.
They made a book out of that?
Bernie, how long is the flight?
It's like 4 hours out and 3 hours back.
Oh, you'll knock that fucking dick in. I do. Yeah. I did the book on Audible. It was fucking phenomenal. Fucking phenom. So, all right. Well, we're coming to the top of time here. This has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by Justin Richardson, Bern Podcasy, and our guest is the one and only Dan Gallagher. You can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast and join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, then please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And for the love of God, I will kill myself if she doesn't stop nagging me. So please just like and subscribe, or old Uncle Matty's going to be gone. But thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See ya. Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book, but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott and Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott and Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott and Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.s as in Sam, K as in Kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in Boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott and Bell Publishing, where the authors go.